Hello, collective. I hope you're all doing well. It is October 28th, 2025. We're going to tap right in, see what storyline Spirit would like to share with us this afternoon, or whatever time it is where you are. Thanks for being here, everybody. I hope the day has treated you kindly. Collective energy, please, Spirit. Collective energy. Collective energy, please, Spirit. Collective energy. All right, and the central energy. Now, I did not turn it on airplane mode. I really hope I don't get a call right before I finish this up. We're going to go for it, okay? What we got here is the Six of Swords. There's a transition, some kind of a transition happening. We're going from one phase to another. Sorry, I got this thing going on. In the challenge position. We've got Page of Cups in the reverse. Somebody's feeling insecure, emotional. You're challenged by somebody's immaturity in the subconscious. Cycle is ending. The wheel is turning. Yeah. Oh, and it's reversed. Oh, I didn't even see that. It's reversed. So we got bad luck, no control. They're resisting change, but you're breaking the cycle of negative, these negative phases. So yeah, you're out of here. You're leaving. You're breaking the cycle, and somebody is upset, and they're displaying some emotional immaturity about it. Maybe feeling a little insecure. They were some, yeah, okay. So in the recent past, the Star reversed. They're in despair because they got disconnected from your light or the light. Intentions, expectations, divine love. In the near future. Yeah, love. This is divine love. It's what you're looking for, and that's what we're going to get. We're going to get some kind of proposal, some kind of marriage. Somebody's going to commit. The lens is being looked through. The Nine of Wands. in the environment. Hierophant. Hopes and fears. Ace of Pentacles. And the outgoing energy. King of Pentacles. So you're gonna have a business. You're gonna start a business. You're coming into your wealth. There's victory here on behalf of the love of Divine Feminine. And we've got, yeah, her determination and independence is being celebrated. And somebody is upset because you're leaving them behind. There's preparations for some kind of overseas opportunity, perhaps, or some kind of an expansion. There could be an idea, like some kind of an idea that's spreading. You're leaving them out there. They're afraid because the truth has been revealed. You're speaking your truth about what you had to do through this challenge, what you had to persevere through in the history. Yeah, and King of Wands is bringing a completion to the illusion, to all of the illusion that was being done. And it could be that we've got, look at this, we've got the Emperor and the King of Swords and the Ace of Swords. So we've got all that fire, all that truth. We got these very potent and powerful divine masculines stepping up with the Hierophant, and they're just bringing oh my gosh. So somebody's in poverty, they're in a nightmare, because this is the end of the charity. Like, they're not gonna be receiving any more charity from you. They won't be living your life. Now, they definitely won't. I had the vision. I made a post about it where there was a little pig in the hands of a man. I couldn't see the man's face. I just saw his hands and this little brown pig. It was like, a medium-sized pig. And it wasn't squirming or nothing. It was very still. There was like a blood thing on its head and down the back of its neck. And it just kind of looked at me, like it knew who I was, and it just stared at me. There was no fear, there was no anger, there was no sorrow, there was no emotion. Nothing. So I just was reminded of that earlier today, and it's like God let me see that. It's like those. So he said that they were going to be the new fodder, those who had been vampiring the life out of humanity. And so I guess he showed me that there. And so what we've got here is, this is truly the end. They're in a nightmare. They're not going to have any money. They're not even going to have a man suit. Some of these people might have been RAPs of children, and whatever. They're going to be getting in that pig body. I don't know. But anyway, they're in despair over it because they're not going to have any more money. That's the end of them, of the charity that they're going to receive. And they're being let go. Because we're getting the Empress is getting a new beginning. And the Emperor is right there with all the kings making sure it's going to happen. And we've got this passion project is in a tower. Whatever this previous cycle was all about, it's falling apart. It's coming apart because there is a rebirth here, and you're coming into the fruits of your labor. A wish come true. Yes. Look at that. A wish come true. 9 of Pentacles, 9 of Cups. We've got the High Priestess reborn. Resurrected. And she's got divine total love with a King of Cups in this union. And it might actually happen very, very quickly. So this is coming up pretty quickly. I keep expecting to wake up in a land far, far away in some other universe, way over there, like 3 cosmoses away or whatever, 3 galaxies. Way over there. Well, that's good. Public recognition and victory. King of Pentacles is like right there. With this Ace of Pentacles. Divine Masculine has the wealth. Looks like it's coming together. We got peace. You're at peace. So you're moving on. Time to move on. Moving on down the road. Releasing that backpack full of rocks. Letting it go. Letting it go. Yeah, you're moving on. You're releasing the baggage of kin. This previous cycle, thousands of years or however long it's been, that contract is over. You're leaving it behind. You're leaving behind kin. And there's a transition of kin. The mother stated there was a new family tree for the earth angels, because the old ones were not treating them very well. So we've got disappointment, emotional immaturity with the Page of Cups reversed. Whoa. Remember, somebody's disappointed that you're being remembered. The High Priestess has been rebirthed or reborn, or should I say resurrected and then led back into an ascension with a greater light than before. So these kin that you're leaving behind are about ready to go on a negative phase. You're breaking the cycles of them using you, this competition. So you're breaking the cycle of this competition, of this negative phase. It's over. They're disconnected, or you have disconnected from them. As a star, as a rejuvenator, they're disconnected from you. They're in despair over your new union, your love, and your leadership. So they've been disconnected from leadership. Whoever this is, they've lost their title. They've lost their status. They're in despair. They've been stripped of all of the perks that go along with being a human being, a leader, because they obviously didn't do well. They're in despair because they've been disconnected from leadership. The Lovers are here. Strength of 2 together. It's a harmonious partnership. Values are aligned. Defense, the strength of two together, the power of two. The power of the strength of two together versus the power of three. Yeah, so you got this very strong defense here. We got the Ace of Cups, proposal, marriage, love. Oh, it came out. It came out and it flipped it upside down and then into the reverse. We've got objectivity in the reverse, and that is, I'm almost got it memorized. Objectivity is that balanced, stable, and rational mind. Somebody, your love or this proposal you're getting is leaving somebody unstable. We'll get more clarity on that. We've got the Nine of Wands here. You're weary, you're resilient, your boundaries are firm. You're weary of this personality. You're tired of dealing with this, with the Nine of Wands. Your boundaries are firm. The Hierophant is here in the environment. Teacher. Ace of Pentacles, financial opportunity. Absence. King of Pentacles. Wise guy, ouija board. Could be like the King of Pentacles on the card is printed the word security. Regarding wealth, there could be very strong security against the ouija board and the wise guy. You might be getting the wealth of the ouija board, the wise guy ouija board. We've got the limelight, yeah. So you're going to be getting the things that go along with the limelight. You're getting the wealth that you're getting the wealth of this ouija board wise guy. They have to release it. It belongs to you. The things, these ancestors were working really hard to dominate the arcana and their love life within time. And they wanted to appear as that. But it looks like justice is appearing or showing up regarding the fight for this throne. So happiness or optimism is here and now on this new pathway. Or maybe we're on a new pathway of optimism and happiness. And we've got this witch who was driving the consciousness of people is going to be invisible. Or maybe they've been doing it from an invisible place. No, they're going to be made invisible because you've got congratulations here. So you're getting congratulated. You're getting congratulated regarding this conflict that so many of these masculines were doing for entertainment. These explorers, these time travelers or dimension hoppers or whatever. You're wholesome and you didn't do anything. You didn't retaliate. You didn't turn into some, you know, wackadoo like they thought they were gonna, they thought you were gonna be. While this tribe was pretending to be you, you were experiencing hardship because they martyred you into the grave. And God said, you know what, I'm going to resurrect my high priestess there, and pulled her up and led her back into an ascension, and is showing everybody the truth. She's important. She's an important person here in the home of this planet Earth. She's here in service to the people. And you got these actors, she's expected here to take this seat. And this status of privilege away from these vain personalities, these actors and actresses, or this actress. Yeah. They were bringing drama to this peaceful person who is a sovereign person, as she is. It's like what you see is what you get. You know that it is what it is. And here in purpose. And the message is that she did not cut any corners or make any deals. She actually rose up through the suffering and then brought attention to this heinous criminal activity that this player was doing against the creators. They were wanting to be seen as a creator, but they're a snake. Yeah. They were promised that if they horseplayed around with your life, that I don't know, by this religion, if they could horseplay around with your life, and that they would get your position, your location, the location they would get to live in your house, the house of the innocent one whose temple was pure, like clean of sin, of this evil intent, right? Well, that was a limited perception out of the knowledge that they had gained, and they didn't realize that your whole entire body shined. They wanted the body of a shining one. Now they want your forgiveness for not wanting to settle down with you. They're afraid here because prophecy is being out. So we've got a backstory. Those with the backstory, vengeance is in the history, saith the Lord. And those with the backstory of addictions, messing with you, be addicted to messing with you, are gonna, they're gonna be disconnected, because everything's changing, because you survived the haunting through self-love. You loved yourself to health, and everything was seen. Everything was seen. The visitations, everybody was watching you preserve yourself, and you're worthy of eternal love. Because even when things get real bad, real scary, real painful, almost impossible to manage, you do. You show up like this. And you still have this love in you, and you still have the ability to celebrate and be passionate about things. They didn't destroy your zest for living. They didn't destroy the light and the love in you. Even though, I think we all do. If we're doing our work, our inner work, I think sometimes we look at ourselves and we say, and maybe we have a discussion with God or Goddess or whoever it is that you talk to, about what's going on the inside. And then you work it out. So yeah, these you're leaving. You got an exit plan, or you're leaving and they're looking for an exit plan. Everything's crumbling. I heard somebody ask another in the evening hours, you want to stay here forever? So it's like they're going to try to trick their way into a relationship so they can hop on board somebody else's ship and then timeline jump. So somebody's trying to convince them to continue to try to destiny, hop on board somebody's ship to take part in their destiny or their timeline. your ability to stay calm while suffering and while being driven into some agitation is amazing. Long road. So you're leaving the baggage behind. You're releasing this kin. They've had you on a long road, and now they have a long way to go before they find what they want, because that's what they gave you, centuries. And now God said, okay, well, that's enough. You get a new family. So they're having some emotional immaturity about you remembering. You remember. They're disappointed because you remember and you're being remembered. We got fierce, aggressive. They're challenged because there's you are protecting yourself, or you're being protective fiercely. You're being remembered. And now you're breaking these cycles of this stupid competition. These two men there in competition with this mother and this child. These men who are professional absent fathers, they just have children so they can tap into that spiritual inheritance. So you're ending the cycle. You're breaking the cycle of these two masculines in competition with this female and the child. You know, that's basically what it is. These guys go out and find a woman who's got a lot of heart, a lot of love, a lot of things going for her, and then they have a child, and then they drain that maternal wealth, that the family, you know, the spiritual inheritance that was supposed to accrue generational wealth within a family. But these guys were out here playing games. So you're breaking the cycle on this competition, constantly emptying your cup or spilling your cup or taking what belongs in your cup. Yeah, they're no longer going to be able to empty your cup. So this is an empty cup. You're not going to be having an empty cup. You're breaking the cycles. This competition can no longer empty your cup. It's done. They're disconnected from your light, and they're disconnected from those leadership positions that they probably aren't qualified for. Yeah, distant. So they could be at a distance, or they're going to be moved to a distance. The lovers are here. The strength of two together are defending what is theirs. Their life, their future. They have a defense from this shattering. Always picking up the pieces. They've got the complete package now with each other. So their union here and their love is, it looks like it's throwing somebody into a status of instability. They're very unstable because you're having love. They broke their promises. They did not keep their promises. And so you've got this new proposal, this new marriage, and this person who is not stable, they're not reliable, they're not settled. God dang it. What was that other word? What was that other word, guys? Balanced. They're not balanced. They're not stable. They're not behaving rationally. Right now, they are in a state of emotional immaturity, so they're being very childish. They broke their promises. They did not keep their promises. You've got a new beginning, a new love, a new marriage. God gave you a new family because these people were not responsible with you. They broke their promises. They betrayed you and God, who, you know, probably hooked up this connection in the first place. Now, they're in trouble, man. And of course, they're going to want to blame Divine Feminine. because she survived. She survived their good time Charlie. They got caught up in a whirlwind. They did not see this coming. They hit a blind spot. They thought it was real fun to gang up on this woman, have a child, lock her down, and then ridicule her for the rest of her life about being an irresponsible single parent. They all thought it was funny. These absent masculines, they thought it was hilarious to impregnate a woman and then leave her stranded, struggling. Emotional immaturity. The Hierophant is here dealing with a teacher who neglected people. So God is dealing with this teacher who neglected people. They were not paying attention to what was important. They taught everybody how to go be a whore and steal from other people while breaking their heart and destroying their lives. So we've got the abundance of this new venture. We've got absent, not willing to settle down. So it's like you're going to receive the abundance that this absent father that made himself scarce because they weren't willing to be responsible and help you with that child and that foundation. They made themselves absent and they decided to just drain that child's spiritual bank account. They don't even like their children. The only reason they have children is so they can gain access to that spiritual inheritance. Sorry, I think I was breathing it. Man, choking me out. So it looks like you're getting the abundance and a new financial opportunity because this person, this masculine, was an absent father, not willing to settle down and be responsible. So all of the wealth that he took out of this woman's spiritual bank account and this child's spiritual bank account, it's got to come back to you, probably with interest. There is a King of Pentacles here. He's got this abundance here. There's an abundance. It could be an abundance of security. Like he's got this, all the kings and the emperor were there. You saw that? So it's like they've got this security, an abundance of security against these spirits. And this wise guy, this absent father, who's in the habitual pattern of sicking, spirits on people that they break their promises to. So they probably tried to drive this woman insane with their Ouija board. So this says they're trying to connect. They're reaching out, trying to connect to love, but they're not able to. So this King of Pentacles is offering security against the wise guy using the Ouija board, and they're not able to reach you. And the Divine Mother stated that they're not going to be able to curse your business or your land, which, would be your home, I'm guessing your house of wood, as well as your house of, your temple. This is your temple. Everybody talks about a temple as though it's made out of wood or some golden, whatever, or some copper dome thingamabob, whatever. Your temple is your temple. It's the temple that houses your spirit, your soul, your divine essence. Essentially, some people are out there and they're robbing people of their holy temple by doing this magic stuff and these sacrifices. It's just not right. Then they cause you trouble and rocky roads. They got that coming to them because they can't reach you. This King of Pentacles is offering a whole big old bunch of an abundance of security he's got going on with these spirits and this wise guy they can't reach you now. they are struggling. They're struggling, and life is really hard for them right now. They're looking for an exit plan. They want out, but everything is crumbling. Everything's crumbling because you're leaving. And you're not only you're leaving these childish people alone because they burned you. And they very well may have. They've burned many feminines throughout the centuries. They've literally set them on fire. Playing games with love. Guilty at playing games with love. They've lost love now. They've played games with love, and now love, they've lost love. They are reaching out for it, and love doesn't want to have anything to do with them. And I don't know. I think God has turned off the spigot. God said, this is it. This is the end of their relationship with batteries. And I think God just went in there and said, tweak, because the sky belongs to the sun, which would be, you know, the source of life. These guys are having anxiety. They don't know what to do. You know, it could be that they're upset because they made life very hard for a diamond, or maybe these shining ones are making life very hard for them, and they're having a bunch of anxiety right now. You know, it could be that they're tired, like they got disconnected from the light or from your light, and they're going down. They're drowning. They're drowning. And they're crushed emotionally, and they're grieving because they did not see this coming, you know. They weren't telling the story. It's like somebody didn't tell them the truth. Somebody kept secrets. They didn't know about this, and now they want to escape. You know, they didn't know what was going to happen if they broke love's heart, if they used love in a bad way to escape from all of their responsibilities. Someone didn't tell them what was going to happen to them if they got caught doing that, if God caught them doing that, destroying love and loving people just to escape their sinful behavior. Yeah. Everything that this snake promised them, everything that they gave them is in ruins now, because they sent many flames to the dark side with these sexual encounters. This is ending. This is ending. They're tangling you up and making sure that your needs were never met. That's ending. This crazy drama is ending, and they want forgiveness. You know, they got to face it. It's over. You are who you say you are. You're being remembered. And this is just so freaking immature and sad. And the whole time they were projecting that onto the single mother that they set up for failure, and then drained her of every spiritual inheritance and gift that she needed to nurture her family with. And most of them don't, you know, a lot of them that were into this, they would not even buy diapers or pay child support. They didn't even care. So you are releasing the baggage of the kin, of the ancestors of these many cycles. They have a long way to go before they get what they want, because you have an understanding there. You've brought forth an understanding of what they've been doing. They are emotionally immature, and you are being remembered, and you're being fierce, or maybe God is being fierce around you, or maybe your family is being fierce because this person or these people, they didn't grow. They didn't add value to their soul. They just effed around and spent a lot of money and thought that it was going to be that way forever because they're immature and living in a fantasy world. Gossip. Gossip. Yeah, people are talking about you breaking the cycle. It's like you broke the generational curse off of bloodlines, and I don't think it was just Like, you got a new family tree. God gave you a new family tree. So whoever this family is that was doing this, they've been disconnected from you, and you were their wish come true. So God gave you a new family tree. So now in your spiritual life, you've got this connection, right? This Lover's card, defending against these ones, shattering things into pieces. And it could be that the power of two working together in this defense have discovered that perhaps they've found the complete package. Perfect alignment. Yeah. So you're breaking the cycle of this stupid competition. These two men ganging up on this mother, you know, and then impregnating her and leaving her there on her own while they go out and have, you know, freaking whatever they do. They're no longer going to be emptying your vessel or your cup. They're no longer going to do that because we've been reunited with Source. Humanity has they're given some form of leniency due to the severe amount of framing, the framework that they were trying to set up and have humanity convicted of deceitfully is just incredible. All these yeah, so it looks like they're not able to separate you from love, but they're getting detached. Whoever was involved in this passion project to try to separate you from love and sabotage you, yeah, they're disconnected from life, disconnected from their leadership role. They're going so far away. They're going far away. They're going far away because you weren't guilty of the things that they were trying to say you were guilty of. They lied their way into this status. It was all underhanded, forbidden magic, and illusions, and a whole bunch of people, a whole bunch of greedy actors and actresses, really wanting the wealth of the mothers. These two men, these men. So the Lovers are here, masculine, feminine, strength of two together, defending themselves from having to pick up the pieces. They've got the complete package, or their defense is like maybe they're the strength of two together. They've got a defense from those unworthy people who have been trying to shatter their lives. There's a new marriage here, a new proposal, a loving one, Ace of Cups. And somebody is unstable. What was that? They're not stable. They're not rational. They're not balanced. They're out of whack. They did not keep the promises they made. They're freaking out because you've got this beautiful love and their life has fallen to pieces. Your defense is shattering their world. Unfinished business. So you've got a new connection, a new marriage, and you're strong together. It's actually very nice flow. And those who are unstable and broke their promises, who betrayed you over and over and over again, there's unfinished business here. So this is your last stand. You're persistent and resilient with your boundaries regarding these actors, these copycats. They got caught up in a whirlwind. It's a blind spot. They didn't see this coming, that your boundaries are still up. You did not give up. You're weary, but you did not give up. You're still standing there. And they got caught up in a whirlwind. They didn't see what was going on, and they're reminiscing about all the laughter, how funny they thought it was. I don't think they're thinking it's funny now. The Hierophant is here, and we've got a teacher who neglected somebody. They weren't paying attention to what was important. And it's too late. They're out of time. It's too late for them to take any action. They neglected their time. So the Hierophant's dealing with this teacher, somebody who taught people to be immature, to be ruthless, to be thieves, to be prostitutes. And then to blame the feminine for being that, when it was them setting them up and stealing every good thing from them, leaving them in an instability without support. Yeah, so we got Ace of Pentacles. You get a new financial opportunity, or all the Ace of Pentacles, all of the abundance of this absent father who was not willing to settle down or be responsible. It's like you're getting it, and they are in disagreement. They don't think that this is fair. You know, they took it from you to begin with. I mean, yeah, they might have had a child with you, or they might have had some form of a contract, and maybe they didn't have a child with you. Maybe it was just some kind of contract that they magically obtained in the ethers, and they never actually met you. It could be something like that, and they've been pulling your strings since then. You may not even know who these people are, but they know you, and they got to give you back everything that they stole from you. King of Pentacles is offering an abundance of security regarding the Ouija board, the spirits that this wise guy this wise guy is trying to call up. Or maybe, yeah, so the wise guy, the Ouija board guy, he's not able to reach you. He's trying to reach out, but he's not able to, and he doesn't know what to do. Wise guy can't reach you. King of Pentacles has a whole big old, security going on here. So yeah, they don't know what to do because they're stuck in the shadows. They can't reach you. The curator said the other day that they're stuck in a loop. He needs a relationship. He's got to hop on board somebody else's timeline, somebody else's destiny. He's got to get in there and do it. He's working with, there's at least 5 people in the territory of, in your territory, in the territory of this reunion here. They're all masculines, and they're talking to this curator about, they're making a plan on how they're going to get into the energy of this feminine and then do it all over again. They need to get this, this curator out of his time loop, and they want to swap places with her. And he's got a crew, a posse of masculines in her territory that are just, they're scheming, plotting and scheming on how they're going to be Judasing her, setting her up for a crime so that she will be evicted this time like she was last time. They set her up for a crime and she didn't do anything. The way she loves is irreplaceable. She's always longed for this, and she's never gotten it because they said that she was something that she wasn't. They're in regret. They did this because they wanted the wealth that came with this marriage, this union, this woman. And now they want to escape the damages that they've caused because they're actually feeling it. You know, this is a reflection, a mirror magician or a witch or whatever, and it's an unexpected outcome. They were not satisfied with the way things were in their life, and this is a third party wanting to have a conversation with you to fix the connection with you. But they can't get into the space. They can't get into the space of these commitments because these divine aligned commitments, they're not able to get into the space of that and the soul contract and the destiny that is with it, because this is a new chapter for those who want to give equally, who love and be responsible for their families and for themselves and for each other. It's not for this game, you know. So self-love, your love for yourself is causing you to hold back everybody that neglected you or life or others, those people who took everything from you in truth and then left you alone. An inseparable love. They couldn't separate you from love. Even if they detached you and then did all that stuff, they couldn't take the love out of you. They tried to. They're not very nice. I use the same decks all the time. And I'm going to go ahead and leave this one here. I think that this is probably a good place to stop. Although we do have unfinished business here, I'd kind of like to learn a little bit more about that. Let's go ahead and pull some cards. See what happens. All right, so you are leaving behind kin. Then they got a long way to go before they're going to get what they want, because there is an understanding of what they have been doing here with wearing masks and pretending to be you while performing, blood magic rituals or doing orgies or unaliving people or just being vicious and cruel and mean. There's an understanding. So you get to leave them behind. God said, oh, you know what? You don't have to serve them anymore. You don't have to give them anything anymore. They're disappointed because you're remembered. And God's being very fierce about you right now. There's gossip going on about these prideful, egotistical people. They're worried about what people will say. There's an understanding of how they were doing identity theft, and they were copycatting everybody, mimicking everybody on the computer. They were splicing and dicing false video evidences and stuff of people with their little lookalikes and such, trying to frame somebody in the eyes of God about who you were or whoever had access. And I think that this online stuff, I think it does spread throughout the dimensions and stuff. So yeah, they were really trying to set you up. But your soul is connected to your soul family. So they were watching, whether these ones realized it or not, the whole time you've been watched. Everything has been seen. And God just got fed up and said enough is enough is enough. So you're breaking cycles of this competition. They will no longer empty your cup. You have been reunited with your soul family, and you will no longer be collaborating with those who have been so desperately competing with you, according to them, when in actuality they were impregnating people and then leaving them in dire straits while stealing everything from them. Their stability, their spiritual inheritance, their wealth, their ability to care for a child, and then that child would grow up and be all screwed up in the head, and they didn't care. They didn't care, man. I heard one of these unseen masculines say, you know what I hate? I hate my kids, meaning he had more than one, and he hated them. So you're not going to be collaborating with them anymore. You're reunited. These people will not be emptying your cups anymore, and they're just done. They're done. They're disconnected from your light. They're disconnected from your, they call you the supercharger, the revitalizer, the healer, right? The one who processes death energy and sickness energy and all of that. So they're disconnected from the light. They're disconnected from these leadership roles that they gained falsely through deceit. You are seen, you're not guilty of what they had tried to frame you with, and they're going to go away. They're going to be far, far away from you. And it could be that they are far, far away from you. They could be in some other country. Loneliness. They're lonely. They're sick. They're disappointed. You're not guilty. So they have to give up the leadership position that they stole from you by trying to frame you for these lies. You have been vindicated. That's what I was told, that in this space there is vindication for what they accused you of. So you've been found innocent. You've got this love union. You are qualified for eternal love, and you are defended against these unworthy people who have always brought your life to pieces, wearing masks. You're getting a reward. Or those people who were trying to, who always left you picking up the pieces, they're unworthy of your reward, of any reward. Yeah. Because they always left you alone. They abandoned you. And then they were framing you with stuff that you didn't do, just so that you would have to pay more karmic debt and have more suffering. They kept burying you under the blame and the shame of their own deeds, and they're unworthy of this reward. You are getting this beautiful love. It's a proposal, an Ace of Cups proposal. And we've got those who are not balanced. They're not rational. They're not stable. They broke all their promises, every single one. They tried to break your heart, and they did, but they did not break your spirit, and they could not remove the love out of you. There's unfinished business here, and your alliances are taking care of it. They're taking care of it. Your alliances are cleaning this up. They're being very, very fierce and aggressive regarding these prideful people who try to destroy the world. They punished every freaking buddy trying to dominate them, just like they were dominating this mother figure here. The whole world over, and they thought they were going to get away with it forever, but God said, excuse me, that man suit you're wearing, that's like made in the image of God. They're getting kicked out. They're getting put in those pig bodies. They've lost the privilege of being called men. They're never gonna have sex with a woman or a child or each other ever again. They should have been nice. Because these third wheel enemies can't tap your imagination anymore. There's not going to be any third wheel enemies tapping this mind of these loving, devoted people and then targeting them with their malicious, schemes to destroy their world and take their material wealth. They're reminiscing about it. But we're not dealing with that anymore. The Hierophant is here. We got this teacher who is not paying attention to what was important. And it's too late for them to take any action, to do anything about it. Yeah, they fell into a trap. They got tricked. They got trapped, and they got tricked and fell into a trap. We've got time. We got time here. So it's time. It's too late for them to take any action. They fell into a trap, and we are on schedule. This abundance that this absent father, or these absent, whatever you want to call them, these weed seeds that weren't willing to settle down or be responsible for family or for the generational wealth, they have to give everything that they stole back to you. It's all going back to you, and they're having disagreements. They're sad because they think you should understand how they feel after they've hurt you for centuries. They think that, you're the bad guy because, you stopped caring about them and you stopped pouring into them. And God stopped you from doing it. He said you were too forgiving, and you're going to stop doing that now because he's going to pull you up out of this mess and show you mercy because you're too damn kind. You keep freaking helping these jackwagons. King of Pentacles, there is an abundance of security regarding the wise guy who's using the ouija board to reach out and do love spells or try to get somebody interested. They're reaching out for love, and they're not going to be able to reach out at all. The shadow side doesn't know what to do. They're indecisive because there is security here. They can't get back in. They've been evicted out, and they can't reach back in. They can't come back in. This whole network that's been stuck in the shadow side, working in the shadow side, that's where they are now. The curator said he's stuck in a loop. He's telling this posse of masculines that must still be, in the territory because I heard them telling somebody, your kids are on this side. So wherever they are, it's not here. They're on that side. And apparently these little jackwagons are over there on that side. So the curator has a posse of fellas in the territory that are friends with this group here, and they're over there and they are scheming and plotting on how they're going to frame this feminine and her counterpart with a crime so that they get evicted out of the territory again. They can't get in there. I guess that's a promise. I guess that's a promise. There was a promise in history. There was a promise in history that you would be saved and that justice would be served. So you received a promise in the history that you would be saved and that justice would be served. And that's what's happening now. It was a commitment that this sweetheart made to a blessing. So these sweethearts are the blessing. They were committed to this. These two people made a promise in history that this was going to be saving and bring justice to this. And we've got living and learning. You lived and you learned a lot about the domination that was happening to humanity here, about the nightmares and the hauntings with these ouija boards that they were bringing forth, these dead people that they were giving cloned bodies to, you know, and then setting them loose on humanity. They're being rejected. They're going through withdrawals because they've been disconnected from the light. And if they were, you know, born in like a clone or whatever, I don't think they have the chakra system. So they don't have the ability to generate, to be their own supply. Which means that, you know, the vessel can't live without energy. So you are comfortable. You're having sweet dreams because these people are being separated out of your mind and out of your life. Because you care and support, you know, families and you care about the children, you care about, you know, generations to come and all of that. There's like some kind of a miracle happening. These ones want to apologize. They want to say that they're sorry. Or maybe somebody wants forgiveness. I had a read a few days back where somebody wanted forgiveness for not trusting you. You know, I mean, you might have tried to tell somebody in a previous cycle what was happening to you, and maybe it looked so unstable or whatever, they didn't trust it and they just said so long, and it could have wound up in a really bad situation for them too. But not this time. This time they trusted and changes occurred. So there's a vow. Like there's real estate, a mega project. You could have wealth. You've got this beautiful ideas. You've got this white halo, this beautiful golden light in your temple. You are source connected. You are the transmitter receiver of the divine. You're receiving these holy, you know, heavenly ideas, your intellectual property, that stuff which was supposed to come forward into the world and be planted here. You know, these ones are hesitating because their curses are coming back. Last night I got the message to prepare yourselves because apparently, I don't know, there could have been some really heavy magic done on those full moons or whatever, and maybe it's coming back. I don't know. These curses. These curses that they were trying to do on the gift, they were trying to bind eternal love for the gift and steal their gift. They were bribed by somebody to cause a natural disaster for a family. But you stayed relaxed. You stayed inwardly peaceful and calm. You were able to hold yourself together and, you know, be happy. And that led you to a victory. And now these ones want to compromise because, you know, they're being prepared or getting ready for death. They could be going for a trip in their car and going to have an accident or something. because that might have been the magic that they put out. And it might be coming back on them. So I'm going to go ahead and leave it here, because we've got the alliances who know that you are trustworthy, honest, and true. They see very, very clearly that this person who was this kin here that was wearing masks and lying so severely about you, they are imbalanced, irrational, and unstable right here. And they broke all their promises. They betrayed you, but they betrayed God, the Father, you know, when they said that they were going to protect you and guide you and care for you. So that's the message. I hope that it brings clarity to something that you already intuitively knew. And I will see you on the next one, everybody. Bye.